On the 15 in the morning, early in the morning, we are told that the plane doesn't exist anymore. And because we are told that the plane doesn't exist anymore, we had to literally run all over the place, rush all over the place, try to find a replacement. And well, there were two decisions. Of course, one of the decisions was to take people or to tell people what was happening and how things were going on. 300 people from all over the world are taking this flight from Dubai to Singapore. It's a 10 hours conference. We brought in sponsors, we brought in everybody. The flight was paid, everything was already arranged, and things were already going on track, supposedly. Buenos dias, buenos dias, buenos dias. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's Alv, and this is the first episode of something that I actually decided to do for the next 3 months at least. So let's see how it goes. And I would love to start by telling you a short, long story. And it's a story about how this year it's been really, really tremendous and as well pretty insane. But more than anything, how this year has taught me some of the most valuable lessons in the world of business and also, of course, in the personal world. The first one is that not everything, really not everything, is what it looks like. And I guess this is one of the hardest things to learn, and especially because when we are faced in, when we are in the middle of a long decision or when we are in the middle of a big decision, sometimes we see things clearly and we tend to make decisions based on our superstitions or our preferences or sometimes what we call the gut feeling. But the reality is that the gut feeling is nothing but the combination of many of our prejudices, many of the things that we learn throughout life, and as well the fears that we have. So as owners of business, often we start taking decisions and we say, what's my gut feeling? And sometimes no, it's not your gut feeling, it's actually you being afraid or you judging based on the things that you've lived and experienced before, or you judging based on those things that you don't want to happen. And none of these sometimes are good advisors. Making decisions or making choices on the spot is one of the hardest things in the world for a CEO. For example, this year, one of the things that happened is that one of the days we were delivering a project, we were told that the place where we were supposed to perform or to execute the project was not there. Imagine, we flew in 300 people from all over the world to take a flight. And these people were supposed to take off on the 15th. On the 15 in the morning, early in the morning, we are told that the plane doesn't exist anymore. And because we are told that the plane doesn't exist anymore, we had to literally run all over the place, rush all over the place, try to find a replacement. And well, there were two decisions. Of course, one of the decisions was to take people or to tell people what was happening and how things were going on. Imagine, again, 300 people from all over the world are taking this flight from Dubai to Singapore. It's a 10 hours conference. We brought in sponsors, we brought in everybody. The flight was paid, everything was already arranged, and things were already going on track, supposedly. The airport where we were supposed to fly from didn't approve the permits, or the permits were not approved to fly from that city particularly. So there were literally 2 airports unavailable for us to fly from that place. And this happens a few hours before the flight. So imagine what is to pull out, literally, to bring a plane or to find a plane from the same airline, from the same specifications and parked in the same country to fly from that country to another country. And 2 decisions. The gut feeling is like, okay, go out and tell everybody that this is not happening and assume the consequences, right? Because sometimes what we think is that we need to be the best we can and we need to tell the stories that we learn from it and so on. But sometimes what wins is being able to shape a narrative and being able to actually tell people the story in a different way. So we try to think backwards, and by thinking backwards, we learn that the best thing that we could do is try to arrange everything. Find the best possible solution on the spot. This is a few hours before taking the flight. And literally in a matter of 1.5 hours, we managed to find a new plane, new permit, and new airport in the same country. And thankfully, the next day everybody was flying, but of course it was a disaster, literally a scandal. Like everybody was trying to get to the airport that they learned the night before they were supposed to fly from. But then this was not the airport actually, and they had to go to another airport. So we had to get ready buses, and we had to get ready people, ushers, food, whatever you can imagine. And on the new airport, we need to tell the authorities and tell everybody that 300 people, an unexpected influx of 300 people besides the usual passengers they had, were coming in the place. So this is where we learned, for example, why a few months back we tried to find different private airports to fly from, and none of the airports could manage, and none of the airports approved this fly. So, and then like why, for example, we were trying to fly with another airline and the plane for some reason didn't happen, and why with everybody that we were asked that we asked, there was a denial, right? Like again, your common sense and your gut feeling will be like, oh, maybe this is not meant to be, maybe I should cancel, maybe this shouldn't happen. But your not gut feeling, which is essentially the entrepreneurship mindset, will tell you, you know what, if they tell me no, I will make sure that it's yes, no matter how it happens. And I will find a plane, and I will fly in an airport, and I will find a permit, even if it's 2 hours before flying. Thankfully this happened, but this brings few lessons. The first thing, I like to definitely quote Millie Odhiambo. A few days back, I was watching this TikTok video of Millie, who is member of parliament in Kenya, who was actually quoting a book that is called Good Girls Don't Get the Corner Office. That is arguably her favorite book. And according to her, in this book, literally, one of the main teachings is that the good girls and the people who behave like what society have told you to behave, they will never actually get things done, but they actually will be successful at getting other people things done, right? Like at making sure that they fulfill the dreams of others, that they somehow help others to get to the places where they want to get, and so on, but they would actually never get to the place where they want to get. And this brings up some valuable lessons, right, that are actually applicable to the entrepreneurship world. And is that, for example, in our case, we are told that in business, everything has a procedure and things have certain logic and things need to be done in a certain way. Even if you, for example, want to close a business, unless you have experience by doing whatever activity you are required to do, you would actually not be able to apply. But the truth is that some people who have experience, they also come with some, let's say, faults or faulty ways or behaviors. Some people, not everybody. And some people have experience, they might have experience in something particular, but here, whenever you face a challenge, what is definitive and what really, really defines things is not the experience you have, but the resilience of your team and how prepared your team is to respond, to adapt, and to do things, and of course, leadership. So, as one of the most valuable lessons from listening to Odhiambo and like reading actually the book, Good Girls Don't Get the Corner Office, one of the things that I definitely must say that apply to the entrepreneurship world is good guys never get to actually make sure that things happen. These type of behaviors are behaviors that in a normal business book will be like, why you didn't just cancel the flight and you tell everybody not to do it. But here is what's happening with this generation, is that this generation actually is a generation of people who, instead of complying to the rules and to what's supposed to be, is trying to push boundaries and to do things in a different way, right? And this is why we have the search of so many industries and so many people trying to do things that were crazy before, or things that were done before by people who were older. Because key in this generation is that the people are not anymore conforming to whatever set of rules are there. And people might think that this is complicated and that this is, for example, something that shouldn't be taught to people, because then like we're going to have a lot of anarchy and so on and so on. The so-called anarchy sometimes is just the fear of people in power to actually give the voice and give the platform to people who are younger, well-equipped, and who actually can get things done faster, better, and smoother. And this is one of the things that proves, for example, experiences such as the one that I just mentioned, but other things that are created. And this is actually what happens right now in the world of making sure that the brands create a message that is so loud without being noisy, and so well executed without being tacky that people can't resist. And this is what we call sometimes experience design, but as well this is what we call strategy in terms of business. What matters now is not how many years your brand is being in the business. What matters now is how much your brand understands the community. And this understanding of the community is really decisive, is really key, and really makes sense if you want to focus and to create something bigger, better, and something that really transcends. People are not anymore listening to the voices of authorities that are self-proclaimed. People give the authority to the people who are willing to build a community. And sometimes your community building will take time. And please don't be discouraged, because this happens a lot when you are an entrepreneur. Don't be discouraged if you, for example, have a company and are trying to grow your team and people quit, or you have to fire people or so on, and you seem like, I don't know how to crack it. I don't know how to grow the community. I don't know how to do something bigger. No. This is actually refinement. Some communities take time, and some communities are bulky from the beginning and big from the beginning in terms of numbers. And some communities are big in terms of impact and influence, but small in terms of the amount of people that you have. And what's important is that you understand that many of the things that happen in business, at least in real business, happen in the long run. The things that happen in the short term, yes, are nice quick wins that can actually give you a lot of self-esteem, and that's why you have projects and things that you execute. But in terms of business, if you want to last long, or at least if you want to create something that people will not forget, it's important to understand that this is a game that you're playing, and you don't need to play along the rules, but as well, you don't need to desperate, because whoever desperates loses. And finally, like just going on that same line, and as an introduction of the next 90 videos, I guess, the last thing I want to say is this year I experienced for the first time being the bad guy. I guess I've been the bad guy many times, right? But I guess I've never actually been aware of being the bad guy. And with bad guy, I mean like being the guy who actually speaks out, or who actually fires someone, or who actually has problem or misunderstanding with a person, and not feeling really super bad, but as well not feeling super good about it, but just understanding that this is part of life. Before, when I used to have a problem with somebody, I would feel really ashamed and really embarrassed of not being able to hold that relationship with people, because people tell us, don't close any door, keep your relationships open, make sure that you build this and that and that. And sometimes the truth is that even if both of you are good people, probably you are just not good for each other. And probably you are not good for the team of that person. That person is not good for your team. Probably sometimes who you are will not help this person grow, and who they are will not help you grow. And that doesn't mean at any point that this person or you are bad. And this is something that we need to get really rid of. This idea that if somebody is not like what I want, it means that the person is bad and then I cancel them. This is the easy thing, right? Because the easy thing is to think that people are just bad and that's it. No, yes, people can behave badly, and people can behave in a way that probably we will not understand. It doesn't mean that they are bad people. And same, we will behave badly and we will behave in a way that people will not understand. It doesn't mean that we are bad people. It's just that for that kind of situation and for that kind of person, we are not the people. And sometimes it's worth, of course, to ask for forgiveness. But even, for example, if you regret certain things that you say, or if you will have loved to do things in a different way, remember, you did the things in the best possible way you could with the information you had, and that's it. So in making decisions, in taking the leap, in jumping, in walking, in going for those things, again, good girls never get the corner office. Experiencing that people quit, that people leave you, that you fire people, that you are the bad people for somebody, that somebody is a bad person for you, it's part of the whole process, and it's part of the way. It's what you sign up for. And most important, by understanding this, you will be able again to make decisions on the spot with the knowledge that this decision will cost you. You just need to know and to be aware of what it costs you, and you need to decide if you are willing to pay that cost or to pay that price. Because anyways, whatever you do, however you do it, everything you build is an experience on the making, for you, for others, and for your future growth. Build in the long term, create something unique, be unapologetic, allow yourself to be the best person in the world and the worst person in the world, and move forward, because the world is for us to conquer, whenever, wherever, whatever. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. I hope you like this video, and if you like it, please share with your friends. And of course, subscribe. I'm new in this. Subscribe and share. I'm more than happy to hear your feedback, to hear what would you like to talk about. I'm an entrepreneur building a company in public. My company name is Circolo, as you know, and I'm just trying to share my thoughts about things that I've learned. Nothing that I've learned in school or nothing that I've learned from the mouth of some experts, only in real life experience from my travels around the world, from the clients that I've had, and from my heart. I hope that you enjoyed, that you have an amazing time. See you in the next episode, and thank you so much for being patient, because I know that probably this is a bit rusty, and I think I'll get there. I'm confident, happy, and relaxed because I know that you guys will support. See you soon. Bye-bye.